Welcome everyone. Almost knocked over my camera. Welcome everyone. Another episode, LGR Live, man. Playoff edition. Coach Kendrick, man, how you doing today, man? I know you got to be hyped up.
Yes, man. This is every coach's time of the year that coaches get excited for all the hard work.
Oh, you good, man? Guys, I really appreciate everybody for joining us, man. If y'all can click that share button, share the stream, help us continue to grow this platform for our girls. We're going to break down each individual bracket, get into a little bit of things like that, and talk about each individual matchup, guys. Tag your friends, let them know we're live. We're live on YouTube as well as Facebook. So you got somebody that doesn't have Facebook, we're live on youtube.com/LGR basketball. Again, they can't catch it live. They can always go back and watch it. We're going to kind of talk about who we think had some good draws, a little bit of shakeup, some differences in the Go Prep ratings versus the LHSA ratings. So some people thought they were playing somebody, and a couple things changed. So a lot of different shakeups kind of down the wire, which is going to be interesting. But yeah, man, Coach Kendrick, man, you got anything else you want to comment on before we jump into it?
Nah, man, it's nothing to do but to get to it, right? It's playoff time, baby.
I love it, man. Again, guys, the more you guys comment, the better. So comment below, man. Let us know who you're rooting for. What type of matchup you guys are looking forward to. We'll kind of keep everyone updated as much as we can, but LHSA does a great job with the system that they have. It automatically updates as soon as the teams agree upon the time and the location, as well as the actual date. So you can play before Thursday. You just have to play by Thursday. So some teams will be looking to play on Wednesday. Some will be playing Thursday. So keep an eye on that. Some people will agree to play early. Who knows what's going on with the weather and everything else. We do live in Louisiana, so keep an eye on those. Keep us updated as much as you can. Like I said, man, comment below, guys. Let us know who you guys are interested in checking out the most. First things first, man, let's jump into Division. Let's see if I can get it on there. Division 1, non-select. Of course, Walker draws the number 1 seed. Parkway right behind them. I guess the biggest jump in this one, in my opinion, is the run that Ponchatoula has made, right? So we've always been talking about it over the last couple weeks. Ponchatoula's really rocking and rolling. As soon as Taylor Jackson got back healthy, shout out to her, and probably arguably one of the top forwards in the state. Hopefully she can make a deep playoff run, get some more looks. She played really well last year. But Ponchatoula is the hottest team. Kind of, I guess you could say, the dark horse. Coach Kendrick, man, what's your thoughts on this area of the bracket, kind of top or bottom? Who got a good draw before we kind of jump into each individual matchup?
Listen, man, again, you just hit on it. For the last month, we've been questioning where would Ponchatoula land. We find out they land at number 5. Potential quarterfinal matchup with the 4 seed of Zachary. If it swings Ponchatoula way, man, rematch them and Walker and Hammond again. This one's gonna be good.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, honestly, looking at that, Ponchatoula is still going to have the work cut out for him. I was trying to think back to, I can't remember the last time Ponchatoula has not had a quarterfinal game at home. It's been years now, so quarterfinal games are a lot easier when they're at home. I mean, I'll be honest with you. So having to go on the road and win a quarterfinal game is not easy. Like, that's what you play your whole season for, to be one of those top 4 seeds. And those top 4 seeds, like you see in college basketball and stuff, that you get a competitive advantage whenever you're playing at home. So Zachary's definitely going to have a huge advantage if they do match up with Ponchatoula. But it's going to be interesting to see kind of Ponchatoula there. What about on the bottom side? Anything stick out? I guess I haven't really looked too far into them. Again, guys, comment below, man. Let us know your thoughts on any of these individual matchups, Division 1.
Neville kind of surprised me in this area this year. They coach said when we spoke to him this summer, said they were kind of rebuilding. Well, did a good job of just maintaining. Looks like coming in at the 15 seed. Get a first round home game. That's still for a team that's supposed to be rebuilding. That's a, sometimes you measure your seasons off of, oh, did we win a state title? Did we give it second round, third round? But just to make the playoffs, I think you can pat yourself on the back for a team that you thought was supposed to be rebuilding to maintain, and the kids can learn from it and have a better year next year.
Absolutely, man. And I think my opinion on the bottom side here, East St. John's going to be a team that I think I would like to keep an eye on. I think they have quarterfinals, if not semifinals, ability. They've been playing really, really well lately. Have definitely been up and down throughout the season. If they can tend to be on a little bit more on the upside, play good first round, get a good little win, get everything underneath your belt, upset somebody on the second round, going into Barb quarterfinals. Who knows what can happen. I think
Oh, yeah.
it's experiencing from that from last year. You can kind of talk about how East St. John really competes. Especially in the playoffs.
I I want to think if we have a dark horse here, man, keep your eye out on Saint Amant. We saw they went toe to toe with Walker last week, a couple weeks ago. Went toe to toe with Walker, correct?
Yep.
And they could easily do the same thing in the bottom with Negative Central and Parkway. Man, I love Coach Gloria to death, and Michaela Williams and Chloe Larry and all those kids that got there. But it wasn't a good. To me, it wasn't a good showing at when they went to Benton the other night, and I don't know if they got to get some things corrected. But I trust those kids, and look to see them in Hammond.
Yeah, no doubt. I think someone just comment no upsets 1 through 4 in Hammond. I think you can definitely see that. But man, I tell you what, man, shout out to the LHSA executive committee when they brought this huge change and kind of shifted everything. I mean, I've never been I haven't been this excited about Louisiana girls high school basketball in the playoffs since the split. I mean, if they're not going to bring it all together, this split mix up here definitely makes things interesting for the playoffs. And I think that's why we have so much excitement. And we got so many people tuned in. When I posted the brackets this morning, I mean, we've got like 300 shares on that, just on the brackets. I think there's a lot of people that are really hyped up. And I think that's going to start from round 1. I think that's going to start round 2. Instead of a lot of blowouts, of course, we'll still see some blowouts. I think we can see some upsets here in the first part of this bracket. So, nonetheless, man, let's go ahead and get things into it. First matchup here, you got Sulphur versus Benton. Man, I'll let you go first this bracket, and then I'll take over on the bottom half. I'll go first and kind of go back and forth. Who you got, Sulphur and Benton? Guys, y'all can comment below. Let us know your thoughts as well.
I'm going home team, man. Benton Lady Tigers, man. I got them moving on to take on Walker, bro. Mary Ward, championship coach. I know Sulphur's been there a couple years back. But I take Benton.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I'm going Benton as well. Not necessarily calling this an upset, but they are on the road. That is a long ways to travel for sure. Anytime you got to travel that far one day and then play a game, it's not going to be easy. I have seen both teams. Sulphur is bigger. Benton's definitely going to have to keep them off the boards. I think, like you said, coaching advantage, you're going to have to lean towards Coach Mary Ward here. Just the experience there of being a championship coach and whatnot. I think she'll have these ladies prepared. Sulphur's going to, if they can be a kind of a low-scoring game, which I don't think Benton is opposed to, I think Sulphur can definitely win this game. I'm not saying there's going to be anything as far as a blowout, but advantage Benton just slightly with experience and stuff like that. On to the next round, Mandeville versus North Shore. What you got here?
Mandy. I saw Mandy. We had Mandy first round last year. They came up to Southwood. They wasn't too far off then. And for them to be a 9 seed now, and they were 20-something seed last year, and now they're a 9 seed with a home game this year. I'm going Mandy.
Yeah.
I hadn't, I'm pretty sure they're rocking and rolling. They're going to be focused in and locked in, and trying to get revenge from that first round loss last year.
Yeah, for sure. And it's a district matchup, so definitely going to be interesting. First time they played, it was a 8-point game, and then second time when they played, it was almost a 20-point game. It is definitely hard to beat a team three times. I think Mandeville is the better team here. They're just deeper, have better guards overall. North Shore obviously has the better player, one individual player with Spencer. If you're going to pick anybody in that game, you would definitely take her first. But once you start getting to the 3, 4, 5, 6, seventh best player, a lot of those kids tend to be off of the Mandeville team. I think that's what's going to happen here. Definitely look for Mandeville to win it. But again, something to keep an eye on. North Shore and Mandeville, this will be their third time playing as they are district opponents. Chalmette versus Ruston, man. What you got here?
I'm gonna go upset Ruston. McWade kid will be the best kid on the floor.
I like it. I definitely like it.
McWayne kid. I'm sorry, McWayne.
Yeah, we know what you meant. We know what you meant. I definitely don't disagree there. Chalmette has the size to really kind of compete with a lot of teams here in 5A length. Athleticism for sure. That's an interesting matchup. I think Chalmette has had an easier schedule, so that's kind of why their bracket is where their rating is where it's at. They have a little easier district as well. Got a huge bump. They've been playing really well. Kind of came from like the 13 seed, which I think that's more where they're at, all the way up to the 8 seed. And Russell was playing really well early because we had them in our top 10. I don't know if you
Correct.
remember that or not.
Correct.
So if the Ruston from the beginning can get on, you can definitely see them rocking and rolling. Would not be surprised if Ruston comes away with this one, but again, that is a long, long ways to travel for one game. You're traveling all day, and then you play one game, get on the bus, got to travel all the way home. I'm going with the home team here. I just think Chalmette's going to have just enough, but definitely agree with you guys. Ruston is definitely putting Chalmette on upset alert. Next round, man. Ponchatoula versus Central Lafourche.
Do we got to pick that game?
I heard that. Fair enough, man. Ponchatoula's unfortunately Central Lafourche, man. Ponchatoula is arguably a top 3 team, top 4 team in the state. And they could be 1, 2, 3, or 4. I can hear arguments for all. So Ponchatoula is rocking and rolling. Like we talked about, we've been talking about it for 3, 4 weeks now. You don't want to see Ponchatoula when you look at the draw. First round, second round, third round, really until you get to the semis. If you see them in the semis, you're like, all right, this is who we're supposed to see. You see them in the first, second, third round, you're like, this is not who we're supposed to see.
This is not who we want.
Yeah, exactly. Next one we got Thibodeau versus Southside. Who you got?
I haven't seen Thibodeau this year. I know Southside lost the main kid to ACL, but it looks like they still had a good season. Man, I'm gonna defer to you on that one.
Yeah, again, looking at this, I think Thibodeau did a great job. Coach Ashley did a great job this year, and I didn't expect them to be where they're at a 12 seed. Kind of thought they would be able to get a home game. I do think she overachieved. Being at 12 seed is a great run for them. And with that being said, I think Southside kind of overachieved as well. Losing your best player, they've just been playing so up and down. They've been playing really, really well, and then they'll just kind of lose a tough one and kind of go from there. But their district is so tough. I think they were prepared for the playoffs, but I question with having so much getting banged up, finishing the season 2-6, 2-7, kind of finishing down that stretch. Do they have the confidence that you need to have going on the road in the playoffs? And with that being said, I think Thibodeau is going to have a little bit more confidence. I think this game is going to be a closer matchup than people think. But I think the confidence that Thibodeau is going to have, just where they're at, winning some games, a little bit easier district, I guess. I think I'm going to lean towards Thibodeau, but do not be surprised if Southside wins this one. Quick question. I don't know the answer. I'll have to do some research. They have changed the rules in quarterfinals. Quarterfinals always goes to the higher seed being like the 1 seed. If Southside wins, does Ponchatoula have to go to Southside?
Yeah, from my understanding, they would. Now, so if Benton won, they still would have to go to Walker because
Correct,
Walker is guaranteed a
there's a
home.
bye.
Yeah,
Yep. So that's a
it's a
great point
bye.
too. If you have a bye,
Yeah.
you automatically have your first round. I know they were thinking about putting in the voting because again they changed in the quarterfinals was what they did last year, and football just switched to quarterfinals, goes to the higher seed. Second round, I don't know. I think I have to do some research. I think if Southside wins, if they can get past Thibodeau, they'll have Ponchatoula in the second round, which we've been ranting and raving about Ponchatoula making a run here. If you got to go on the road 2 out of 3 games, that's gonna be tough to get to the top 20. That'd be interesting to keep an eye on. Nonetheless, man. Next up, Destrehan versus Airline. Who you got there?
Uh, I hadn't seen Destrehan. Airline's been up and down this year. Lost some kids. Um, I, I would probably have to go lean Destrehan's way. Just seeing Airline this year up and down just hasn't been consistent. So yeah, I would lean Destrehan way just to give it to the higher seed there.
Yeah, and I mean, Destrehan is also kind of up and down as well, and it's kind of a sneaky, interesting. Again, I didn't think they would be as good as they are. Their district is not as tough, I guess. But I mean, they're playing against East St. John. They're playing them to a 12-point game the first time. I'm trying to see where they had the second time. And they played them to a 2-point game before that. So, I mean, I think Airlines schedule, district, everything kind of up there has prepared them again to go on the road and get a win on the road. But Destrehan is, like you said, playing consistent. They've only lost 1 game since January 6th. So you go 2 months only losing 1 game, you're gonna have confidence, and I think that's a big part of things coming into the playoffs, having confidence in the first round. And again, that's a long, long road trip from Airline all the way down to Destrehan. It's gonna be a long, long road trip. So I agree with you, man. I'm going
Yes,
to. All right, man. Bottom half. I'll jump on the bottom half. Get it started. Dutchtown versus Houghton. I don't know, man.
Dutchtown all the way.
I don't know, man. Houghton's again in a tough district, very prepared to go on the road. Dutchtown was so hot early. We had them really high. They had some hiccups. Um, some players missing some games and stuff like that. They come into the playoffs with a 3-1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3-9 record. So again, when we
Dutchtown.
look, yeah, Dutchtown's 3-9 headed into the playoffs, and we're looking
Yeah,
at
that's never good.
confidence.
Listen. Yeah, and Holden's young. She's dependent on with the exit of Dakota Howard. She's dependent on some young players, young pieces coming from the middle school over. Some kids that were there last year as well got to step up and do bigger things. I saw Halton one time this year, and their best kid was a freshman,
Wow.
in my eye. So that's my opinion. The little guard they got number 2, I think he is. That was the best kid when I saw him, but they were missing that point guard at the time too, so that could make a difference.
Yeah. So, I mean, with saying that, I know 3-9 sounds like a lot. If you can kind of right the ship, uh, again, going to the best player, Nia Miller, if she's healthy, rocking and rolling, I think you can definitely see Dutchtown winning. They just rely on her a lot. I know she's been kind of in and out, so I guess I agree with you, man. Dutchtown, you kind of swayed me into that one. That one, I was kind of on the fence either way. Just 3-9 is tough going into the playoffs, man. Especially when they started out so hot. I mean, they were the opposite. I think they were like 14, 15, 17, and 2 at one point. So just kind of where is everyone's head at is a big thing whenever you're thinking about, especially these close games like this. But experience. Like you said,
What
experience.
was those games in their district? What was the district?
Yeah, district stuff, man. That's the Walker, Santa Maria,
Yeah.
Denham. I had Zachary mixed up in there as well. So that's some tough games for sure.
Yeah, when you talk about battle tested, when you got to strategize for that press coming from Walker, Zachary, yeah, that's gonna be tough. You're lucky to walk out of those games alive. You know what I mean? Or if you were lucky to walk out of that district making the playoffs. You see what
Yep.
I'm saying? And so same thing with Holton. But I'm gonna lean toward the Dutchtown on that one.
Yeah, I agree. Next up, East St. John versus Salmon. I think Salmon got a terrible draw here. I think Salmon has been up and down. Again, one of their better players did leave kind of in the season, so that kind of hurts. But they do have a guard that has the ability to make some plays. I think Salmon could have shocked some people, but I don't think they'll be able to shock East St. John. I think that's just a tough draw for them. So I actually see East St. John winning 2 games here and them facing Barb, which I would imagine would be at McNeese, which would be a great game in the quarterfinals. But what's your thoughts, man? East St. John and Salmon.
East St. John, Jazz and Company, trying to unfinished business last year. She's trying to make a mark as a senior, getting ready to go to UL. I don't see them losing that game.
Yeah, for sure. And guys, I appreciate everybody commenting, man. The more people we can get to comment, the better. Kind of gets everybody involved. So, you guys have any thoughts, any information, man, you want to share with us? Who's playing well, who's not, who's got a keys to games and stuff like that. That definitely helps out a lot. Let's see where we at. So Dill Springs and Slidell. I think this is an interesting matchup. Slidell's playing some better basketball. I think Denham has done a great job with their program since Coach Rudy has taken over that. He's built the thing the right way. He's got his kids a lot of confidence, playing a lot of games where they could win, they should win, and they have been winning games that they could and should, which is great. And that's why you get that sixth seed overall. With that being said, having a home game there versus Slidell, I think they do get by Slidell. East St. John's going to be a dogfight, can kind of go either way. But this round I'm going with Denham. What's your thoughts?
Denham Springs, man. Slidell didn't get their big girl back. I can't remember her name. She played AAU with
Jada Bedford.
whatever. Yeah, Jada. Did she play this year? She was injured, right?
I believe she came back. I know
Oh, okay.
she was banged up at the beginning.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, but I'll take Denham Springs. Like you said, ever since that coach took over, it's been doing it the right way. So I think they're going to be battle tested and go from there.
Cool, man.
They're in that
Next, what's that?
They're in that district, Denham.
Yep, Walker.
Yeah,
Walker,
exactly.
So. Yeah. Next up, Natchitoches Central, Live Oak. We'll kind of let you take them, since that's kind of in your area. Who you got now?
Central, man, is if they're young as well. They're sophomores, juniors, I think. And so Coach Jones has done a good job with them, rocking and rolling with them. Man, if they're on, if their press that they run is on, Live Oak's gonna be in for a long night. Long bus ride up, long bus ride home. So it's just, in that place, if you ever been to Natchitoches Gym, in that place, the student center, you going right into the student center the first half, that noise, is going to be tough for Live Oak.
Yeah, just reference there. You're not supposed to be able to put kids behind the goal there. I don't know how niggas gets away with that. I'm serious. That's like I think the NFHS or something. It's in one of the rule books. You're not allowed to have people stand behind the goal. That's why the cheerleaders have to stand outside the lane and stuff like that. I believe that's the same rule. But to your point, it is a tough environment. People did comment. They said Jada Bedford came back in January, so that is a definite upset alert for Denham. Slidell is a little bit better than a 27 seed. Not saying they should be in the tens or whatnot, but Slidell is better than a 27 seed, so that is a tough draw. As Denham has Jada Bedford, the best player for Slidell, come back, and then East St. John, I think they're better than an 11 seed. So you got back-to-back games where you're playing teams that are better than the seeding. That is going to be tough. But I think everyone's kind of in agreement with Natchitoches Central. We'll move along, man. Santa Mo versus New Iberia. New Iberia is doing a great job back into the playoffs, but they draw, like we talked about, one of the upset alerts, double-digit seed in Santa Mo. Arguably the only double-digit seed. Maybe East St. John can get to the top 28, Final Four. Santa Mo possibly as well. I can kind of throw them in that mix, I would say. Santa Mo cruises here. They'll play Natchitoches Central, like you said. That's going to be a great second round game. Maybe one of the best second round games on that Monday. What's your thoughts, man? Got anything else?
No, I'm good with that. Like we talked about Santa Monica, I'm check them off.
And 15 versus 18, man. Neville, Hanville. I like Hanville. I think Hanville is better than the 18 seed as far as their ranking. Haven't seen Neville though. Hanville has enough guards to win games. Guards win games. They got a young lady going to play college basketball. They've got some other young ladies that have the ability. When they get to that point, age wise, they're a little bit younger. So I think Hanville has the ability to get past Neville, make it to the second round, play the Beast and Parkway. But I got Hanville with the upset here. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm going Hornville too. I've seen both of these teams play um, this year, and the guard play, as you said, at Hornville, I think it's gonna be better than the guard play at Neville. No, don't discredit Neville for what they've done this year to keep it afloat. Again, coach thought she was rebuilding, but she's done an out. It's an outstanding job to be the 15 seed.
Yeah, that's huge, man. To get a home game there, like honestly, in my opinion, this is a good matchup, but it should be flip flop. Like Hanville should be the 15 seed, Neville should be the 18 seed. But we'll see what happens here, man. Jumping into the next round. I mean, the next bracket, Division One select side. Let's get right into the matchup. So we'll kind of talk about who got a good draw here, in our opinion, as far as second round, quarterfinal, possible matchups and stuff like that. You start us off with the first one, St. Joe's Academy versus Bird. Who you got, and why?
Well, man, when I looked at this, what could possibly be matchups earlier in the week, last week, man, Bird was sitting at 15, and Coach Tate has done a good job with those girls this year. I thought they're better this year than what they were in the past. She's a lot of senior heavy, and she's going to lose a lot this year. I'm gonna say Bird in this one. I have not seen St. Joseph. Don't discredit St. Joseph, but I'm gonna go with what I've seen. And if number 15, I can't think of Morgan, I think it is. One of they got triplets, and number 15, she's hot from three. But I was just saying that it looks like every year in this division, Bird has to eventually travel to John Curtis.
Yeah, I know, right? Sure seems that way. That's definitely a tough second round matchup. I mean, St. Joseph, shout out to coach over there doing a great job. Made a deep run last year to the, got to the top 28. Had some upperclassmen and stuff like that. Great coach. I think they're going to be prepared. I could see this one going either way. I think the home game, of course, definitely helps you. The confidence that they had, the experience that they had the last year, making that deep run. I think they'll have the whole school excited. That's one good thing about being at an all-girls school. Whenever you have like basketball, volleyball, that's like your premier sports. There is no like real football. Of course, they have Catholic High up the road, but like everyone really rallies behind that. So I would imagine that's going to be a packed house. Tough environment as well. So I'm gonna lean towards St. Joseph there, but could definitely see that one going either way. Liberty and Southwood, what you got there?
Do you really want me to pick this game?
What about second round? What you got second round?
I got Liberty moving on to play Dominican, man. That's no questions, hand down. Liberty versus Dominican second round.
So Liberty and Dominican, that's an interesting matchup in the second round. I don't think either one of those love seeing each other in the bracket whenever it did come out. Liberty did beat Dominican in a barn burner at the Lario Center. That was a great game. And they was playing without Jefferson, their point guard. So Liberty having to go on the road playing at Dominican again. It's all girls school, man. It's going to be a packed house, a great environment for
Uh,
second round playoff game.
and listen, I'm sorry, man, for cutting you off. Didn't mean to cut you off. But listen, let me go back here a second. Liberty Southwood there. Kamar Effort for Southwood 2025, man. It's gonna be a battle with her and the big kid
Whitney Harden.
Liberty. Yes, that's going to be a matchup to watch. Effort went off for 31, I think it was, against Zawali. Turned around and scored another 30, I think, something against, I want to say Bird it was, or whichever one it was. So she's kind of on a scoring tear herself. So, that's going to be, but man, Southwood just don't have the guards. They don't even have a depth. They only got 2 girls on the bench. So they only got 7 players. I think Liberty runs away with that one. So I don't want to discredit Southwood off the top, but it's just, just talking basketball.
Yeah, that's a good point too. When you're talking about matchups, it's probably one of the better as far as like evaluation. Seeing 2 bigs like that go head to head, definitely probably going to be interesting to see Whitney Hart. Whitney Hart's had a great season, man. I've been really impressed with her. Liberty does a great job surrounding her, just giving her the ability to play versatile. And Liberty's going to have, I think, like you said, the guards to shoot them out of the zone and stuff like that. But getting into that second round, Liberty at Dominican dogfight, that's going to be a great game, man. Might be one I might have to check out. As that's going to be one that's going to come down to the wire. It came down to the wire already. Liberty got them at a neutral site. And again, that was without their point guard. But now you're having to go to Dominican. I think it's back to could go either way. You do have your point guard back, so you got to give the edge to Liberty, but have to go on the road. It's a tough matchup. Could see that one going either way. Next up, we got Mount Carmel versus Northwood Shreveport. Who you got?
Northwood Shreveport has had a real good season. Coach Rudy has got that team a 20-win season. Hadn't had that in a while. Mount Carmel, I didn't see them this year. So I'll defer to you. I know that Northwood has some guards. Northwood has the big kid Queen down low, man, that can make a difference. She does everything well. She runs the floor like a true big. She rebounds like a true big. She cleans up the board like a true big. So if that guard play that Northwood has and that big can get going, maybe they can upset Mount Carmel here.
Yeah, and I mean I think Mount Carmel is the better team here. Could definitely see an outcome in an upset. As Mount Carmel, relies a lot on the 3 ball, and they've got the forward Lauren that can score on the inside, but if she's not able to score, gets in foul trouble, I can see a lot of relying on the 3 ball, which could go either way to say the least. But Mount Carmel's got a little bit more experience here. I think Mount Carmel will be able to pull out the win here. They'll turn around and play Ben Franklin, where Ben Franklin and Mount Carmel, they played already. The last game of the season actually was a 19-point game. And again, it's tough to beat teams multiple times. Like they would actually be playing twice in arguably 10, 15 days or something like that. It's going to be tough. I mean, again, you beat them by 19. I would assume, of course, Ben Franklin is the advantage there where they could beat Mount Carmel, but that is an interesting matchup where that's your last game of the season and then turn around and be your first playoff game. Just got to have your head on straight, make sure you're locked in, kids are locked in, get off to a good start. But, man, shout out to Ben Franklin, man. Ben Franklin had a great run this year, one district. I'm not sure that's happened a lot in the past. They had a great season last year. First time in the top 20, I think, in school's history. Kind of set them up again for another possible great run when people really thought they were going to kind of fall off. So, what's your thoughts, man, on next game up? Chappelle is playing Edna Carr.
I haven't seen either one of these teams this year. So I'll defer to you on that one, Chris.
Yeah, Chappelle. I was talking to Coach from Chappelle. They were Really interested in the draw they're going to have. Could have been 13, could have been 12, could have been 14. Landed at 13. It's a tough draw, man. Edna Carr is a team that has also played up and down. I don't know, man. Edna Cars could beat them, or they could easily win. I think again I go to Chappelle home team. I think they're playing good basketball. Chappelle definitely should win this game. They'll advance to Scotlandville. Not a team that they wanted to play. Scotlandville was a team that has played really well. I think Scotlandville is the most tested team in this division. Um, top to bottom, start to finish with their season. Of course, you got Lafayette on the bottom side, but Scotlandville is not deferred away from playing anybody. So having to play them in the second round is definitely tough for Chappelle. But
Yeah, that's gonna be tough for them because, like you said, Scotlandville is not a team that you want to see in this bracket here. They're really they're really gonna be like you said, battle tested. McDonald kid and one of the best peer scorers. She shout out to her. Well, I think we didn't shout out her. She made her 1,000 points while we were a couple weeks back. But I think it's gonna be tough for Chappelle or whoever to get past Scotlandville at
yeah, I mean,
Scotlandville.
and kind of looking a little bit before we jump on to the next part, looking a little bit deeper into this division here. Second round, third round matchups. Curtis, we foresee them advance to the quarterfinals, a home game versus either Liberty or Dominican. That's going to be an interesting game. I think Liberty gives them a much tougher matchup. Just with Whitney Hart on the inside, Liberty having a better presence on the inside is something that I think you don't see a lot. John Curtis definitely has been playing well. They got the guard play to play with anybody, but the size could give them some problems with with Whitney Hart's versatility. I don't think that's a team that you really want to see. I think they would much rather play Dominican. They beat Dominican by double digits already. But I'd be interested to see if John Curtis plays Liberty. I think John Curtis is, of course, the favorite, but I just think having that big is an interesting matchup. On the bottom side, Ben Franklin. Like I said, I'm not discrediting Ben Franklin, but playing the same team over back to back from the last game of the season to the first game is definitely something to keep an eye on. But Ben Franklin is the favorite to advance. They advance. They'll play Scotlandville. That's going to be an interesting matchup, right? Ben Franklin's got to travel to Scotlandville. Scotlandville has played really anybody and everybody. Ben Franklin has been playing extremely well. Again, I think that game can go either way. I think Scotlandville's got the better shooters, so I think that's why I would lean towards them, especially being in their gym. Like Paxton's talking about, Daniels, definitely a great point. Daniels is going to have to be the guy that stops Whitney Hart in Liberty. And if Daniels gets in foul trouble, I think John Curtis could be in foul trouble. But what's your thoughts overall, man, with the quarterfinals, semifinals matching up here at the top half before we jump down?
Well, like you said, man, Curtis here is the favorite, but a possible Scotlandville Curtis matchup is going to be a burner. You know what I mean? And I would love to be in the gym for that game, possibly. You know what I mean? But that would be my quarterfinal matchup. Would be Curtis versus Scotlandville.
That'd be the
Would love
semifinals,
to.
actually. That'd be semifinals.
I mean, I'm sorry, semis. I'm sorry, semis. But yeah, semi. That's my matchup there.
For sure. Let's see. Jumping into bottom half here. I'll get us started. Ash versus SSA. I think Ash has been playing really well, won their district. Shout out to the coaching staff over there, doing a great job. Kind of those girls just having one district, did not believe in what they were kind of the vision that they had, and then they just kept winning. And I think that's a tell of where they're at now with the 14 seed in a home game. I think, in my opinion, the 14-19 seed here got a great draw. No discredit to St. Thomas More, but them at the 3 seed is a great draw for whoever's in that 14-19. Then if you do win that game, you got Warren Easton when Warren Easton is on a bit of a slide after losing one of their best guards. I think I mean I could see SSA possibly winning this game. I think whoever wins this game could give St. Thomas More a run for their money, and if not, St. Thomas More comes out on top. I think they're going to be looking in the semifinals right where they want to be. What's your thoughts on Ash here? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna lean towards Ash again. Home team. I think they got enough overall guards, forwards. They got enough to get it done.
Yeah, the new coach, man, he's done a fantastic job at Ash this year. Got them believing. One district, man. And I gotta just echo what you said. I've been saying if I was a coach, I would want to be wherever St. Thomas More. No disrespect to Coach Stroney and St. Thomas More. Excellent job at the number 3 seed. But if I had to pick any one of the top 4 that I wanted to play, it'd be St. Thomas More.
Yeah, and St. Thomas More has arguably the most versatility out of everybody. With you got the Gatorade Player of the Year volleyball player. She's going to LSU. She's playing basketball. She's very skilled. Got the presence on the inside. They really match up with anybody and everybody. They're just not elite as far as these other teams. But on the flip side, the reason why they are the 3 seed, and hell, who knows, they could win the whole thing, is because they have the versatility. Whenever it comes up to matching up with anybody in this bracket, St. Thomas More has the ability to do that. But always say guards win games. I think the guards are just a little young, not there yet, right? But man, they had a great run for sure, and looking forward to seeing St. Thomas More. In the semifinals. Versus Lafayette. Who knows? Huntington. Who knows? Huntington can get by Lafayette, man. St. Thomas More, I think, matches up really well with Huntington as far as size and stuff like that. But jumping into the next one, Woodlawn versus Riverdale. Woodlawn's done a great job. Their potential is through the roof. So coach has done a good job scheduling. Scheduled really, really light last year. Scheduled a little bit harder this year. Got some more experience. Got some, depth. Some young kids came in. With a private kid, have the ability, they can give her the ball and get out the way. She can go make a play, which is what you'll need. I think they'll win the first round. They'll go to Easton. That game could go either way. I think, again, Warren Easton is always really hard. And they just find a way to get to the top 28, no matter what it is. But they've been hit with so much adversity this year. I think they're on upset alert from their first game out. But I wouldn't be shocked if they're wearing their gold jerseys in Hammond, which seems to be what they're always doing. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, man, it's gonna be tricky with Easton, and like you said, Woodlawn has done a better job this year. They were kind of, figuring it out last year, but looks like they're being the 11th seed. I got to lean towards them going to take on Easton. Man, I'm gonna put Easton on upset alert there. I'm gonna say Woodlawn over Easton.
Yeah, it's just, man, it's a tough environment, man. I don't know if that team is ready to go into Easton. Like, hey, man, no discredit to anybody. Easton has made it to the top 28 for so many years because their kids are freaking just find a way, man. And I wouldn't be surprised if they find a way to the freaking semifinals, state championship game, and I wouldn't be surprised, like you said, if they lose in the first round. Like, it could go literally either way.
Correct.
What you got, man? Acadiana versus West Jeff. West Jeff has been banged up, man, back and forth. Sometimes they have 8 kids, sometimes they have 5 kids. They had the best player overall, I think, in Kyra Bradley. So I don't know if she's healthy enough to get them rocking and rolling. I don't know, man. I think Acadiana is the favorite here, but I would not be surprised if West Jeff comes up with the upset. What's your thoughts there?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Acadiana, you see them beat Barb, right, and then get blasted by Lafayette, and it didn't make any sense to me. Like, okay, how could a team be up and down like that? So yeah, that's what I was gonna go to the West Jeff upset on that one myself.
Yeah, it's all about West Jeff's. Are they healthy enough? I don't know. I mean, they won 4 of the last 5, so some easy games mixed up in there, so it's really kind of hard to tell. They haven't really won a big game, especially on the road, so that's tough whenever it comes to this playoff experience right here. But they were a second round team last year in the playoffs, brought back most of the team, so can definitely see an upset here. But I think Acadiana is going to be the team I would, I guess, lean towards here, just with home court and everything. Man, very interesting matchup. This next one, Karen Crow and Ellender. I was definitely high on Ellender. I think everyone was. See them at the 18 seed is, a little bit shocking, and then Karen Crow as well. You were very high on Karen Crow and have been all year. They've been through some injuries, up and down. To see them have to match up to each other, and then the winner have to go on the road to Lafayette. Which way you leaning here, man?
Karen Crow, like you just said, I've been high on Karen Crow all year long. I think Karen Crow is one of those double digit seeds. Was just as I was just getting ready to say that, I saw they got Lafayette second round. So
Yeah,
but so I think though Karen Crow is in my favorite here, in my opinion. That's all I could say about that. I just really love the package that with the guard play and the bigs that they have. I think that's a good recipe to have as a coach.
yeah, for sure, man. And I mean, again, guys, I appreciate everybody for watching. You guys are doing a great job commenting. We got 70 people in and out, so really excited. The more you guys comment, share, like the page, everything definitely helps us continue to grow this platform. So if you guys can do that, really appreciate it. Jumping into this bracket a little bit deeper and kind of looking at it overall as a whole, who do you see coming out of this side, man? I mean, I think, of course, the edge is towards Lafayette. I think Huntington really got a tough draw. I think they're arguably one of the better teams here. They have also played up and down. I mean, call it what it is. The forfeits at the Lario Center really hurt them. We could have seen them at the
Really,
5, the 4 seed, where they're on the top side of the bracket. Looks like it's going to be Lafayette, John Curtis, but could you see anything different, I guess?
nah, man. And I spoke with Huntington parent today, and I was telling him the same thing. The incidents down in New Orleans hurt them. It hurt them bad, and it gave them this draw. Me personally, I've been ranting and raving about Huntington. All love Kendall Graham to death, but when I think about the kid Blackwell coming back from Lafayette, I just think it's a bad matchup for Huntington. That's my opinion. And I just see, like you said, John Curtis, Lafayette here.
Yeah, and I mean, I will say this, right? You got a lot of good coaches here whenever you get to the quarterfinals, man. Coaching definitely has a big part of this, right? Especially whenever you get that bye. All these guys had that bye. All 8 teams had the bye. You have a lot of your prestigious coaches from all the way down the line, man. From John Curtis, first year coach, that could be a difference. I mean that's going to be something to get over. But again, they have the best guards in the bracket. You got Dominican, you got Liberty, coaches that have both coaches that have been around for a long time, state championship caliber coaches. Ben Franklin, you know, has all the experience in the world. She's been around the block. She knows what she's doing. She had a great run last year, overachieving this year. Scotlandville, same thing. Been everywhere, played everywhere. You go down to the bottom. St. Thomas More, great coaches. Easton, great coaches. Huntington, great coaches. Lafayette, great coach. Like everywhere you look down, I think that could be something that you can kind of keep an eye on too. The 1 seed, 2 seed, could they get upset? Like it could come down to who's more prepared, and I think that's gonna be something to keep an eye on in the quarters, the semifinals, and on down the line. But with that being said,
Well,
I see Lafayette Curtis in the finals.
well. Listen, I'll go back to that Lafayette Huntington game. Whichever guard plays better, Kendall Graham, Crystal Narcisse, whichever guard plays better, have the better game, their team wins.
Yep.
That's why I put it at those two is going to be a good matchup to watch. Both of them can light it up, fill up the stat sheet on both ends. I would give the edge to Crystal. She is a lockdown defender, just a bulldog on the defensive end. I think people don't give her enough credit for that part of it, her game. So I think we both on the same agreement here. It's going to be John Curtis, Lafayette.
Yeah, I mean, Lafayette has been playing so well, man. I think Lafayette, when they look at it, I think they do definitely like their draw that they have. I mean, Huntington is better than a 7 seed. That's definitely tough. But to have St. Thomas More, Easton on the top side, I think they match up really well with those teams, you know. So I think they match up well with Huntington, like you said. But you do have guards win games, so when you have the ability to go against somebody else, that is really tough. But yeah, man, it's gonna be interesting, dude. Honestly, if I had to pick a team right now, I would say I would lean towards Lafayette just because of what I've seen them play at the Lario Center, and then the addition of Blackwell just really getting everybody healthy from the jump, and then really solidifies everything. But it's gonna be fun, man, for sure. Let's jump into the next division, man. Again, really appreciate everybody for joining us. We're gonna try to get through things as fast as possible. It's taking a little longer than expected, but it's awesome. Really good conversation. Division two, man. You're gonna take the top half here, and then I'll jump into the bottom half. But Lakeshore versus Abbeville, first round. What you got there?
Lakeshore versus Abbeville. Yeah, I'm gonna go just with the. I'm gonna start now on this one. I hadn't seen these two, but I'll lean toward Lakeshore, and I'll trust your word from you seeing both of them.
Yeah, so I mean, Lakeshore has played in a district where they've had some competitive games, and it's going to be very similar. I think Lakeshore is the favorite here. Abbeville has the younger kids, guards wise. I don't think they will be ready for it. I think it'll be a great experience for them, first round game. And I wouldn't be shocked if they do win, but I do lean towards Lakeshore with the home court there for sure. Next game up, Church Point versus Rain. Who you got?
I have this bracket here. I'm gonna go Church Point here, man. Um,
Yeah, I mean Church Point again is just playing better right now. So um, Rain kind of in the same similar area, I guess. Rain's done a great job to get where they're at. 24 seed is nothing to slouch at for sure. But Church Point experience, I think they're definitely ready for this, and I really like the matchup in the second round, them versus Bastrop. I would not be surprised if Church Point comes away with the upset there. Um, what's your thoughts, man, on Bastrop, Midland, and then possible matchup there at Church Point in the second round?
well, basketball the way against Menden. Menden don't have the guards to match with Bastrop. Bastrop being on, they made that run last year, got all the way state runners up, and Church Point. I'm going actually, man. I'm actually gonna go Bastrop against Church Point. I just know what Bastrop has. Coach has them, playing well. And I can see a Bastrop Wiseman, a Monroe area quarterfinals.
Man, that would be fun, huh? For sure. I mean, and again, Church Point, I think the coach has done a great job over there as well. I think they're right where they want to be and having this draw. I think they have a good draw, being at that 9 seed, 8 seed, where they're gonna have a tough game in the quarterfinals, obviously against Wasman. But I can see it going either way. But again, credit to Bastrop again for last year making it to the top 28. Winning the game. I think that's something that I have overlooked. When it comes back to experience for sure. So having those two home playoff games, you could definitely see a rematch. I mean, you can definitely see them advancing, and then Wasserman versus Bastrop in the quarters would definitely be fun. Who else you got here? Interesting little draw here. I got Lagrange, Carroll in this area, Broke Ridge. What's your thoughts on the bottom
Listen,
half of this quarter?
I got Lagrange all the way to the quarters. I got Lagrange all the way to the quarters. Coach Holmes has done an excellent job with that squad, man, this year. getting 20 plus wins, man. Nobody thought they would probably get those amount of wins. Leesville sits in next in his district, so I'm not gonna overlook him, but I'm sure he's sitting comfortably there. Bridge, I don't see them matching the intensity that LaGrange bring there. Now LaGrange Southbow, it's gonna be interesting. So that's why I went
Yeah,
up
so
to the.
I'm gonna add to that, right? So I mean, again, I think Leesville could upset Bro Bridge in the first round. And then of course Lagrange wins, and like we talked about already. So at that point, you're looking at district opponents. Leesville actually beat Lagrange in district at Leesville. So that game would then Leesville would go on the road first round. They come back home. That game would be on a like that game would be on next Monday, and it would be at Leesville. Lagrange would definitely have their hands full. Having to play a road game in the second round. I don't remember the last time they've had to play a road game in the second round. It's been probably quite some years. So, especially a district opponent at that. So I mean that's a little bit of an eye opener, something to kind of keep an eye on if Leesville can get that upset. Though Lagrange had to go on the road to Leesville, where they lost recently. Carroll,
Yeah, they lost by 7.
Carroll is I think a tough draw. Right? I mean, Kaplan could definitely beat Carroll. Carroll is up and down in my opinion. They do have the guard play to where they can play up, and then sometimes they have the guard play that just doesn't show up, and they can lose some tough games. I could see Carroll winning the first round. Could see Carroll losing the first round. But if Carroll does win in the first round, I think they're a tough draw for South Bow. South Bow again has done a great job. I really respect the coach over there. She's doing a great job. I think she'll have them prepared. But that is a tough draw against Carroll. Like we say, guards win games, man. Guards win games. That is tough draw there in the second round. Who you got, man?
Who
Lagrange
you
and
got?
South Bow if it's quarterfinals.
Yeah. LaGrange Southbow again, like you said, Southbow coach, excellent coach, man, done a wonderful job. But man, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the 5 seed getting to the semis, man. I just 2-time state champion coach, man. I'm sure he's gonna. If I said it to him when they came up north, and I said it to them, if they play with the intensity that they played the first half against Parkway, they got the potential to beat anybody in the state of Louisiana. I'm sure he's gonna have them ready to play, and I'm gonna go Lagrange against South Bow.
I love it, man. We hadn't talked about Wiseman, and it's no discredit. Wiseman is just so good, and Albany is so good, in my opinion, in this division. We just are kind of penciling them in to the top
It,
28, and that's no discredit to them. They've had a great season, and Coach Rob's done a great job
right.
going out and playing anybody and everybody. And this is what you expect. You expect them to be the 1 seed. I think Albany kind of shocked some people when they were the 1 seed. They're 1A, 1B. So I mean, I expect Wasp versus Albany in the finals, which I think will be a great game. But just shout out to Wasp and Coach Rob, what all they've been doing. Just hadn't talked about them much, but tough draw for everybody
Man,
else
when
in
you
this
got
part of the bracket.
yeah, when you got all those D1 players on the floor, you get what I'm saying. Everybody pretty much predicts you're gonna be sitting in Hammond.
Yep.
So as Coach Marcus just said right there, man, it's Wiseman's bracket to lose, I believe.
Yeah, and I mean it's a good comment as well. Apostle Watson versus South Bow in the semis. Um, Played each other in the playoffs the past 5 years. That's crazy. So it's become a rivalry. And again, that's two great coaches. Coach Rob's done a great job. The young lady at South Bow's done a great job. So that's going to be a coaching game, chess match back and forth. Definitely be a fun one. I think that's an interesting matchup with Wasserman. Just as far as coaching philosophies and stuff like that. But Wasserman's obviously the favorite, just with all the horses that they got. They can rock and roll, and they have really challenged themselves this year, which I think is the difference. I thought they shocked a lot of people last year. This year, they just went out and challenged themselves and played everybody, and still shocked people. But jumping down to the bottom
Exactly.
half, man. what's your thoughts overall here in the bottom half? Who got a good draw you think, and who's some possible upsets?
Man, I actually thought. Well, going back to the top half, I thought South Bow should actually be in the third seed here, but but in Brosley the four. But um, I think the Franklin Parish, they're kind of underrated, flying under the radar. They're from this area up north. I think I think they'll get past Northwest. I really do, and that'll be a fun game to watch them against Brosley. Franklin Parish has two good guards, man, and that could make it an interesting game against Brosley there.
For sure. That's interesting to know. I mean, Bruley had some things that were a little shaky. They ended up coming back, beating West Feliciana. So I think that's where you see the difference. That would have been interesting if West Feliciana had won this game. I think they would have been the 4
Mhm.
seed. Bruley would have been all the way down to the 7, 6 seed. So you could have seen Bruley versus Albany or Bruley versus South Bow in the quarters. But with that being said, they got the train back on the track, I guess is the way to put it. And Bruley is rocking and rolling now. I think they're obviously going to be one of the easier draws in my opinion. North of Vermilion has done a great job preparing themselves to get to that 6 seed. Bruley's a tough draw for them. I think that's just going to be a tough quarterfinal game. So I see Bruley advancing. West Feliciana is a team that's interesting. Just
Mhm.
haven't seen them live in a while. Um, they can advance to the second round. I like Iota, man. I think Iota has played really well. I think they're more higher than a top 10 seed. I think Larange is higher than a 23 seed. I think I
Yeah, that's what I
think
was gonna ask you.
you go all the way down the line right there. I think Iota is higher than a top 10 seed. I think Larange is higher than a 23 seed. I think Ellender is higher than a 15 seed. You have 3 teams out of those 8 that should be higher than what they are. Where Iota got some kids back playing well. Laranja got a kid back playing well. Ellender figuring things out, playing better, rocking and rolling a little bit now. Um, that's a tough little bracket that Albany's got, man. You have out of the 8 teams, you have 3. Yeah, let's include West Feliciana too. You have 4 out of the other 7 teams, 6 teams on your side that are better in my opinion than their rankings. What's your thoughts on that part of the bracket?
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna ask you. The kid that came back to Larundra, did she make them a better? Did she make a difference for them? I didn't see him after she came back. So,
Yeah,
what's the update on that?
yeah, definitely makes a difference. Again, they're up and down, losing some of the district games, but they're in every game. So it's a tough draw. They're not a 23 seed. That's a tough draw for Iota, but Iota won their district. I think they're obviously the better team. I think they do advance. I could see them upsetting West Feliciana. Would not be surprised there. Again, no discredit to West Feliciana. They've had a great season. I think they exceeded expectations. Like we said, they had a shot at the 3 or 4 seed, which is crazy. Um, and then I could see Iota versus Albany in the quarters. That'd be an interesting game. Like that, both cities would travel like crazy. West Feliciana's going to travel like crazy. Whoever Albany plays in the quarters is going to be a packed house. But still, I think Albany's the better team. I think we'll see Albany versus Wassman. It's just interesting to kind of see the overall draw. I think Albany did get a tough draw, in my opinion. Even
Yeah,
once they make it
Albany.
to the semis, they got Bruley.
Correct. I just think Albany got the tougher draw out of the two. And like you said, just said it. Get to the semis, you got to see Broadland, or again, and then me personally, I just don't. They're gonna get up in you. They're gonna get after you all game. But man, the size and the athletes that Wasman have, I just don't think they match.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good game. We can talk about that one in a couple weeks. But I think I could see Northwest upsetting Franklin Parish. I mean, Northwest has the experience. I could see an upset there, or I could see Franklin Parish advancing it. Whoever it is could give Bruley a tough game, but I think Bruley's press and everything will in the first round home game. I think their advantage there as well. Plaquemine, I think, is the favorite. North Vermilion, I would like to see North Vermilion get to the quarters. I think that'd be a great season for them. West Feliciana, Iota, like we talked about, could go either way. And then, I mean, Eleanor versus Albany. Again, Eleanor's going to travel as well, man. Albany's going to have a great game in the second round. But I mean, both cities, towns are going to show up to that game. Quarterfinals, they're going to show up to that game. Albany's going to have some great environments those second and third rounds. But man, this is an interesting division, especially whenever you look at it. But let's go ahead and jump ahead. Don't want to hold everybody up all night, but what are we looking like? This is the Division II select side. Just kind of take a look overall at the bracket. Who you think got a good draw? Who you see kind of advancing?
Lafayette Christian LCA, man, is I just they've been our number one team all year long, and I don't see anybody upsetting them anytime. I like what Northside has done this year, and I could see them possibly getting on a run here.
That's a good point right there. Livonia lost their point guards. That's definitely something to keep an eye on. Again, guys, appreciate everybody for commenting. Feel free to comment anything you see, any information like that. Definitely helps. Teams playing well, teams struggling, stuff like that definitely helps. Voice opinion. We're just trying to get the conversation started with all this. It's no discredit to anybody at all. Trying to continue to elevate people without putting other people down. So, with that being said, man, this is the Lafayette Christian Academy Invitational, and it has been for the last few years. LCA is rocking and rolling. I like Hannon. I think they got a tough draw. Coach John's done a great job over there. Hannon, looking at them being an 8 seed is huge, right? But if they could have got to the 7 seed, I think the bracket looks a little bit different on this side. Again, you still got Vanderbilt Catholic, which is tough. But seeing Hannon with the first round bye from where that programs came, that's really awesome to kind of see. Bolton kind of got things back a little bit on the straight and narrow. They've been up and down, so if they can get the thing rolling down the street, you can see them make a little run. They could get to the quarterfinals. They could upset Peabody. I think that would be an interesting matchup. If Bolton can beat Washington Marion, go on the road, beat Northside, because again, Bolton is better than a 12 seed. Beat Northside. Them in the quarterfinals versus Peabody is very interesting. What's your thoughts on that, man? Who would you see advancing that? Could you see Bolton making that run?
You said Bolton?
Yeah, Bolton.
Just because, like you said, man, they've been too up and down all year long. For one thought, we thought, nobody wants to see Bolton. Then they went on a skid there. I think maybe those forfeits that they had at the beginning of the year may have put them behind the 8 ball a little bit. And so I'll definitely go, like you said, Northside versus Peabody, and I would have to pick Peabody in that one.
Yeah, and again, watching Peabody, the program grow into what it has, and having the senior leadership, man. Shout out to Peabody and the coaching staff over there. They've done a great job, and they prepared themselves to have a quarterfinal game at home with the possibility to go to the top 28. And I think that's awesome. I think that's great. I think that's probably going to be the best matchup in the quarterfinal as far as competition in this division. But unfortunately, whoever wins that has to play LCA. But whoever comes out of that little area of the bracket, the quarterfinal action, Peabody, Northside, Bolton, whoever it is going to have a great season. Something they can hold their hat on, hang a banner up, make it to the top 28 for sure. Let's jump down to the bottom half, man. Anything kind of stick out to you here? Who got a good draw?
As far as who got a good draw, St. Louis, that possible St. Louis De La Salle matchup in the quarters, it's going to be interesting. Well, that would be, yeah. I just, I think now De La Salle, I think maybe got the tougher draw having to run into St. Louis in the quarters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So and that's mine.
Yeah,
Somebody said
De
Peabody.
La Salle having those injuries early. Again, if you look at the top side, they could have been the 5 seed playing a Peabody.
Mhm.
Definitely a much better draw there. Um, I mean, again, De La Salle, St. Louis, that game could possibly be at McNeese as well. Quarterfinal matchup would be a really good game. Um, I like where Paris Guillory's at, where she has her team playing.
Yes,
Again, I guess I
yes,
call her playoff P, man. Once it gets to playoff P time, it takes it to another level. You've seen her help make runs to the top 28 state championships back to back. I think there's a lot that's going to rest on her shoulders. You got Gabby Link that can shoot it for sure outside, but a lot's going to rest on Guillory's shoulders. I think she has the ability to bring them to another top 28 where they'll match up versus Vanderbilt Catholic. And that game could really go either way. You got a team full of experience versus a team that's trying to get themselves over the hump to make it to the state championship game. Vanderbilt Catholic made it to the top 28 last year. Lost their best player, didn't perform as best as they wanted to, but they did make it, so they have a little bit of experience. But St. Louis Catholic is defending back-to-back state champs. I'm looking forward to that semifinal matchup, St. Louis versus Vanderbilt Catholic. Um, Anybody else you kind of see here that could make some upsets?
nah, man, I'm looking. Those upper half of the bracket, I think it's gonna run their way right to Hammond. So
Yeah,
I think it'll get interesting around the, like you said, the St. Louis De La Salle, and then whoever has to play Vanderbilt Catholic. Man.
yep, for sure.
But like you said, then having to turn around and play Jada Richard and company, it's
Yep.
gonna be a tough task.
This is definitely comment of the night, man. Girls basketball finals will be some great basketball in all the divisions, man. And that's what it's all about. I think again the executive committee really got it right with the split here, and for at least fixing it a little bit. If we're not going to bring it all back together, this is, in my opinion, the second best option. And you're just able to see that whenever you're looking at quarterfinal matchups. We're already trying to make plans. Before we got on here, we were submitting our media credentials to LHSA just so we don't forget, like stuff that we want to be at. And I think everyone, the excitement from everything is really boiling over. So shout out to everybody tuning in, man. Shout out to everybody watching and everything. And I really am excited about the next 3 weeks here. I think you said it last time, man. The seniors, same message that you had last time, man. Just enjoy this, win, lose, or draw, man. Those bus rides could be the last one, that you have with your teammates and stuff like that. Whether you're on the road, whether you're going to the top 28 or everything, really enjoy it. Really be locked into all the thing that your coach and staff and everybody's trying to envision because scouting everything is brought to the next level, man. But yeah, I went off on a little tangent there, but that was a
No, no,
great comment.
that's a great comment, man. Great comment.
Division three, man. Again, taking a look at kind of overall as a whole. What's your thoughts, man? Who got a good draw in the top half of the bracket? Rose Pine jumped a beat. They're the 1 seed. Been talking about French Summit. They're the 4 seed. Springfield actually jumped them. They're the 3 on the bottom side. But what's your thoughts, man? Who got a good draw here?
Man, I love where Union Parish is sitting. At the 5, we were talking about them being higher, and then they played some tough games, and then we was like, well, we kind of tells us something about them, but having to go through Red River, and then one of those two, man, I don't see anybody upsetting them until I know you ran and rave about French Settlement all year. But it's this the Rose Pine show up top. Maybe Mansfield will give Rose Pine a good game in the second round. Just the way they play defense, tough, hard nosed defense. But I just see Rose Pine here.
Yeah, and I mean it's interesting for sure. I think again, we kind of keep, or at least I keep looking back at that 4-5 quarterfinal matchup. Man, that's just gonna be such a fun game. Again, this is once you get down to 2A and stuff like that. This is lower classification where they shut down the town, man. The whole town shuts down and everybody goes. So looking at that, Union Parish at French Summit. French Summit. It's been a while since they made it back to the top 28. Couple years now. I think they're going to be a team that we're going to recognize a lot in this division for the years to come, because they've got one of the best freshman guards. Um, that is going to be an interesting game, man. French Settlement, Union Parish. French Settlement is young, right? Union Parish doesn't have the experience of a quarterfinal game, make it to the top 28. French Settlement, it's been some time. So I think that's one that I'm interested in keeping an eye on. Would love to be a fly on the wall in that game, as I'm sure the roof's going to be jumping off of the gym, man. That's going to be a great game back and forth. A lot of emotions in that one. That's what it's all about. I don't see a ton of upsets in this bracket all the way through. But with that being said, guards win games, man. French Settlement, if they do find a way to win that quarterfinal game, much closer game up the road at Hammond, that'd be an interesting matchup. Them versus Rosebud. I would not be shocked if French Settlement gives them a run for their money. But nonetheless, I think Rosebud is the favorite to come out of this side. Flipping it to the bottom. Again, I've been ranting and raving about Springfield. Again, I think it goes back to what I was talking about against St. Thomas More. St. Thomas More has the ability to match up with everyone in that whole bracket, all 24 teams, because they have size, they have the wings, they have the guards. Both programs are well coached, and they're able to match up against everybody. They can lose to a lot of teams. I think Springfield can definitely lose to a lot of teams, but as far as matching up, they can match up with anybody. And I think that gives you an advantage. I think St. Thomas More has an advantage with that. I think Springfield has an advantage with that. So definitely look for Springfield to make a run. But like we said, they lost to Pine, who Pine's on the top side of the bracket. But I can see Springfield. They won district for the first time in I don't know how long. So them getting to the quarterfinals is going to be interesting. Hopefully the school supports them and gives them a great crowd. Sterlington quarterfinals, be a good game, man. What's some other teams that you kind of see in this area, or is this just a meet all the way through?
Yeah, it's a meet. It's a meet. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a meet. Looking at Rose Pine, in the final.
Yeah, and I mean, again, shout out to a meet. I mean, Jim Pierre doing a great job over at Southeastern. I was watching the Nichols game, and the announcers were ranting and raving, and she's doing what we thought she would do at the next level. But whenever you lose somebody that caliber, you would think Amy would take a step off. But shout out to Amy and the coaching staff over there, Coach Pierre, and what they've done to kind of set themselves up, like you said, to be the favorite to come out of this side and to possibly repeat as state champions. That says a lot, man. With Brumfield and Irving, and they've got a couple younger post players on the inside. They're another team that matches up really well. Might have to take a look and see if Meet and Springfield play. They're kind of from the same area. Doesn't look like they played, but let's see. That's definitely be a good matchup. Who else? Bogalusa up and down. Doyle is younger. It'd be a good experience if they could definitely get that first round win. Would be good. Winfield, you've seen them. You want to talk about them a little bit?
Yeah, Winfield. I can see Winfield giving Sterling the run for their money in the second round. That could be an interesting game. Coach Armstrong has some seniors there, a good mixture of players that could possibly go on a run. If they could get by Sterling and make it to the semis against, not the semis, the quarters against Springfield would be interesting. And just keep an eye out for them when can they make a run. I see them getting past Marksville, but can they get past Sterlington there?
Yeah, I think that's probably the Springfield is the most upsettable team, I guess is the way to put it. Same as St. Thomas More. They're not elite at any single position. They're really, really, really good at every position, which is good as far as matching up, but it also puts you at a disadvantage whenever you do run against someone who has elite guards or elite bigs, So Springfield is probably the most upsettable team, but they could also match up with the best. So whoever wins Winfield versus Sterlington could definitely have a shot at Springfield and advancing into the top 28. But let's see. Moving on to the next division, Division 3 Select. This division is really interesting. It is very top heavy. not one of the stronger divisions. I think, of course, I see, with Newman getting the 1 seed, we kind of always did see that coming down. We've been speaking about, I think it's a tough matchup. I don't think Newman wants to see St. Thomas Aquinas in that 4 spot. It's just a tough matchup. So Newman has arguably the top forwards combination in the state, no matter what, like across the board. And then St. Thomas Aquinas just has better guards than Newman, so that's a tough draw. I could see St. Thomas Aquinas with an upset over Newman, would not shock me, but I do think Newman is the best team overall in this division. Is there anybody else that you can kind of see making some runs? I know this is kind of my division that I've been in, so I might have a little bit more experience. But
Yeah.
anybody else you see?
Yeah, no, you got more experience than me in this division, and I would agree with you, Newman, here. Maybe if St. Thomas Aquinas can get on a run again, we talked about that on numerous weeks where they're a block away from where the top 28 was going to be played at. So that's a home game. If they can walk their way to Hammond, figuratively and literally, if they can walk their way to Hammond a block away, it's gonna be definitely interesting. And think about that. Think about that, Chris. They pretty much will have a home game if they can get to Hammond every round.
All the way through. Yep.
All the way through.
For sure. And St. Thomas Aquinas has a freshman, so I mean they're going to be dominant in this division for a long time. Newman's going to be good in this division for at least another year or two. I mean, I think this is a division where Homer Christian has a lot of young kids. I mean, shout out to Coach Kathy Luke and what she's built over there. Just another program in that area. She's got it rocking and rolling, man. Like, for them to be a 3 seed is crazy from what they've come from the last 2 years. To have a shot at really making a run at this thing. I think they got a great draw on the bottom side. We'll go ahead and flip to the bottom side. Homer Christian at the 3 seed. I think they're the favorite. They could definitely be upset. I think they had a lighter schedule, but she's got her kids playing with some confidence, and they're young. I think they're going to be a team. Homer Christian, St. Thomas Aquinas, we're going to hear for the next several years in this division. So for Kathy Luke to make it to the top 28 would be a huge accomplishment for them. Glen Oaks, I can definitely see. Sacred Heart's playing well. Whoever wins that game could give Holy Savior Menard a run for their money. But again, I think Menard is a team that I would not be surprised if they're able to win this division as well. Just been very consistent in that area. They're not really playing a lot of tough teams, but seen them multiple times. Their games are streamed on Facebook. They play consistent, man. They play consistent versus who they play. They find ways to win games in different ways. I can see Menard making a run here. I don't think Homer Christian has enough to win a state title. I think Menard has. I think St. Thomas Aquinas, and I think Newman does. I think Homer Christian is 1 year away overall. You got anything else you want to add to this one?
I'm good on that one.
Cool, man. Again, guys, appreciate everybody for commenting. Appreciate everybody for staying involved here. We're going to keep it moving. Don't want to keep everyone on for too late, but we'll keep updating this. And playoffs have to be played by Thursday. So we'll do another one probably Sunday or sometime between Friday and Sunday before we get to the next round. We'll kind of update each round. But jumping into Division 4, again, very, very interesting division. White Castle still holds on to the 1 seed. A little banged up, man. Homer, I saw them play at the very beginning of the season, was not impressed. They've turned things around. They're the 5 seed. Lake Arthur at the 8. Oakdale at the 9. I could see 8 or 9 upsetting White Castle in the quarters. Could see Homer and Arcadia in the quarter. I mean, who wins that one? What's your thoughts here on the
They
top,
just played.
top half?
They just played for the district title, and Arcadia came away with it. Kind of single-handedly that district title game. So to have that for a third time in the quarters is going to be interesting. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I still tip my hat. I'm going to tip my hat again. I've ranted and raved last couple of weeks about what Arcadia's building there. They got one of the a good guard there. She's a junior. I can't think of her name. And then they got like an eighth grader who is, whew, it's going to be tough. So they're young, and they're going to just be rolling back next year. So I can even see me personally. I can see Arcadia upsetting White Castle in the semis.
That's what I'm saying. I could honestly, I could see White Castle, of course, making a run. They made it to the top 28 last year. I could see White Castle losing in the quarters before we even get there, and then you having a winner of Oakdale, Lake Arthur make it to the semis. Then you're having like this division could be multiple higher seeds with like 8-9 versus Homer, Arcadia. You can see really anybody kind of coming through that. Again, Homer and Arcadia split. Like they're 1-1 right now. So for them to have to play in the quarters, that is gonna be crazy game. That I mean, shout out to Arcadia. They're gonna have the home court advantage, which is gonna be worth everything. Coach Clay saying Arcadia wins it all. You could definitely see that for sure. It might come down to that quarterfinal game. Whoever wins out of Arcadia and Homer is
Yeah,
gonna
the
have the best draw.
Justice Young is the girl that was speaking of Arcadia. Man, she's back off an injury, and I think she's going to be a difference maker for them.
Yeah, Young. I definitely like her. I've seen her. I definitely like her game for sure. Flipping down to the bottom half, I mean that's just crazy. Looking at the top half of that bracket, that's gonna be an interesting one. That's gonna be one of those that can who knows who comes out of that, and it could be 8, 9, 1, 4, 5. Like I would not be shocked if any of those guys came out. That's going to be a very interesting bracket to keep up with. Bottom half, I've been ranting and raving about Oak Grove. I don't think they're ready to win a state title just yet, but I would like to see them gain some experience. I think they got a great draw here. I think they're kind of favored there. Have a home quarterfinal game. I think they'll kind of cruise to the semifinals. It's a tough draw versus Lakeview. There, Oberlin is a team that I think can shoot their way, make a little run there at the 10. I have seen them; they're well coached. Don't have a ton of ball handling, I guess, across the board, but they do have some shooters, so that's definitely something that can help you win games if you're really elite at one thing. Um, what's your thoughts here, man? I think Lakeview is obviously the favorite, but anybody else?
Lake Lakeview, Coach Fuller, they're going to be the favorite here. Going to be a tough matchup with them and Oak Grove. I don't know if they play this year. Um, but I like Lakeview here. I don't see anybody knocking them off in the bottom half of their bracket. Um, I don't even see them getting any competition. Maybe, to even suggest that they will have anything to worry about. Now, still got to come up and play Timberland Washington. Real aggressive guard. If she's rolling, she's rocking and rolling. I think Lakeview will be okay here.
Yeah, and again, looking at Oak Grove's schedule, a little bit on the lighter side. I don't know if they're fully challenged, but again, we're looking back at confidence. Their last loss was against Union Parish, which was December 28th. So 2023, they haven't lost a game yet. So you're looking at possibly semifinals in March, where they're going 2 months without losing a game. That's definitely going to be interesting. Yeah, Coach K, definitely agree with you, man, on the top half. Again, that's what we were talking about. Could definitely see a great. I think it's gonna be a great second round game between Lake Arthur and Oakdale. That's gonna be a fun one. Could easily see Lake Arthur again. Coach Skeeto doing a great job. Vivian's doing a great job over there. Could easily see them rocking and rolling, making a run to the quarters and then semifinals. Where again that program, that community, everybody has experience of getting there. Like we talked about Warren Easton, they just find a way to get there. But I think this is Lakeview's the favorite overall. But I could see a handful of teams, 5, 6 teams, facing in the state championship where it could really go either way. You got anything else in this one?
Oh man, we're good. Division 5, right? That's Division 4, 5. Yeah, Division 5.
Let's see. Am I on Division 5 or so? Division
I thought
4
we
select.
missed
Yeah.
select. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Division
Division four
4
select.
select. All right, so Division 4 select. We've been talking about this one, man. State championship matchup that we've been predicting: Southern Lab versus Northwood Lena. On some interesting draws here. What's your thoughts? Kind of anybody can disrupt that kind of matchup that we're talking about, or what you see happening
I
here?
I think I'm gonna stick to what we've been talking about for the last 2 months, man, 3 months. Is that those two are on a collision course of Southern Lab versus just what we predicted. Southern Lab the one, Northwood Lena getting back healthy with Allen back, and I just think we'll see that matchup in him, and that's what I think.
Yeah, that's a fun one for sure. Some other teams, I just think they're not quite to the level of these guys, but Washoe Christian. I mean, for them to lose as many kids that they have in the last 2 years is unbelievable to see them still at the 4 seed. I think
Right.
Coach has done a great job over there. Coach Humber's done a great job over there of just building a program, man. And it doesn't matter who leaves, who graduate. Like tradition just doesn't graduate. So he's done a great job building that program from ground up. And for them to be at the 4 seed is crazy. Um, he's a great coach. Would love to see them compete against Central Catholic. I think that's going to be a great game. Both coaches will do a great job there. I like seeing Washoe Christian versus Southern Lab in the semis. I think Southern Lab's just doing a great job of challenging themselves this year, especially of playing anybody and everybody. So they'll definitely be ready. Washoe Christian does bring the experience of making deep runs, but Southern Lab made a deep run of their own. Uh, you would imagine they would kind of struggle a little bit if it was last year, but bringing everybody back and not having a senior on the roster really, and bringing a whole group back again next year, and they just continue to roll. So it's gonna be Southern Lab kind of coming out of this side. Bottom side's a little interesting. You got Hamilton Christian at the 6. They really are doing a great job of building that program. Looks like it's going to be them versus Highland Baptist in the quarters. That's going to be a fun one for sure. Could see that one going either way. Again, I like Highland Baptist, what they've done this year of challenging themselves. I think they're just a year ahead of Hamilton Christian. Um, I think Highland Baptist versus Northwood Lena would be a fun one in the semifinals. You see anything outside of that happen? I think this one's kind of a lot of chalk here.
Yeah, it's a lot of chalk. I think we said this back when we started doing bracketology.
Yeah.
It would be chalk here. Maybe Highland Baptist here that can make it competitive against Northwood Lena, but even so, as Coach Marcus says, they're Lena versus Lab.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be Lena versus Lab, and I think that's gonna be a great game. I think we knew this was gonna happen over the summer, um, whenever they did this whole split the way they're doing it. So hopefully we don't get shocked. I guess on either side, and we do get to see that matchup. Same thing, kind of with Albany and Wasman. I think these are some prestigious matchups that we're all kind of looking forward to. But it could go either way at any time for sure. But this was definitely going to look like it's going to be Northwood Lena versus Lab. We'll jump into the next select. Got Division 5 select. Kind of any update on J.S. Clark and all that deal? Family Christian, man, they're doing a good job. Coaches got them to one another district title over there. They've challenged themselves. Looking at their schedule, they've played the Walkers and the tough teams like that. They did get banged up though, in that. But I think them being at the 2 seed and based on his schedule, I think he likes where he's at for sure. Family Christian is going to be a team that could definitely make a run, come away with some hardware here. Plainview's dark horse. I think Plainview could win that game on the road first round. Could definitely give Oak Hill a run for their money when it comes to the semifinals. Oak Hill, I think, cruises all the way from there. What's your thoughts? You got anything else you want to add to that one?
Yeah, man. Earlier I picked J.S. Clark to win this one. I think maybe Oak Hill now. J.S. Clark has not played well since their coaching issue.
Yeah,
Losing their coaches when kids, I don't know, man. I don't want to get into politics or what about principals and coaches and whatnot, but you got to start thinking, man. This game is about the kids that play it.
yep,
And when adult egos gets involved, I think the kids suffer, and I think that's what we may be seeing here with J.S. Clark. Man, they've lost 6 of their last, I think 10, last 9 or something like that when they lost their coach. Kids bought into a coach, man. It's kind of hard to get over that. So I'm thinking I'm gonna pick Oak Hill here.
yeah. I mean to that point, that's a good comment here. Avora's public charter versus J.S. Clark is a lot more interesting now. You know, where J.S. Clark was the 1/2 seed here, falling with a few games. That could be a dog. I mean, that could be a battle, man, for sure. And you know, then you're as a coaching staff quarterfinals, you win that game on the road, then you go play Family Christian, where really anything can happen in Hammond. Morris could be a dark horse here, where we really didn't think anybody outside of the top 1, 2, 3 could make it to the semifinals or the championship game. Avoyles at a 6 seed could have a little run there. You know, if they could get hot, road game, semifinals versus Family Christian. Who knows what happens in Hammond, and then they're in the championship game. That's definitely something to keep an eye on. But I look for it to be Oak Hill, Family Christian, two great coaches. To you know, Family Christian. I'll go ahead and put it out there. They're gonna have to show up, man, because Oak Hill, as a city, as a town, shows up. So you now want to be in Hammond on state championship day where the crowd is 80-20 and it's all Oak Hill people. Family Christian has made it to the semis championship game. It's won games, won hardware. Oak Hill, I think, is still going to be a little hungry when it comes to state championships. So it's going to be a fun one. Moving into the next one, man. I'll let you go ahead and start
This
us
is
off,
your
man. This is
division
one of
here,
my
right?
this is one of my favorites for sure, man. What's your thoughts on kind of how things lined up here? Again, this is a lot of comments come in on this one. We really appreciate all the smaller school people tuning in and giving some feedback. It's always great feedback. We're definitely not experts in the smaller classifications, so the more you guys can share with us, the better we can learn, the better we can kind of share for sure. Um, what's your thoughts, man? Division 5, top half.
Man, we've been ranting and raving about this one, especially you. Um, and the way it lined up, Fabiu's in the driver's seat here on the top half of the bracket. But man, these matchups could go either way. Hicks against Fairview, possibly in that quarterfinal game.
That's
Wow.
gonna be crazy. And like we talked about, you know, we when we first started these lives, you know, Hicks had their first game of the year. I mean, first game back in their new gym, and they played Fairview where they did beat them earlier. So, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, Fairview quarterfinal game is always you're probably down by 10, 15 points before you even get off the bus.
Correct.
So let's not get that twisted at all. But as somebody that I guess has already beaten Fairview and beat Fairview by 16, I think that is an interesting matchup for sure in the quarterfinals. That definitely needs to be talked about, needs to put on emphasis. What else you got, man? Anything in the bottom half, I guess?
Midland and Reeves possibly in the quarters. I'll probably tip my hat to Midland there. More so there on that one. I don't see on that bottom half there. I don't see anybody that could possibly run an upset nowhere. So
What about Bell City? Again, people commenting, people watching. So I mean, Bell City's been up and down, I think, but they have competed with some people. You know, the better teams in this division. You know, they're playing them. They're playing them close. Could Bell City possibly upset Reeves there in the regional game? That would be interesting for sure. I mean, this is just so so many good games in the second round, so many good games in the quarterfinals. Like the quarterfinals, I mean, let's be honest, they merged B and C. This division, if any division got quote unquote screwed or messed over, this division is the one that got messed over the most because they merged B and C. So all these teams are so accustomed to winning and making it to the quarterfinals in the state championship games. There's just so much tradition, man. It's gonna be so much fun. These quarterfinal games are semifinal games. The second round games are quarterfinal games. The semifinals are state championship games. So it's really gonna be fun, man. Got some comments coming in. There will be some first round upsets in this division, which that is
Wow.
very interesting as well. If you have the upsets, if it's not going to a bye, like that's where you have to go back on the road second round. And
Correct.
again, who knows what can happen there? Anybody can beat anybody. Picking in Bell City, look out for them. They could go quarters against each other. That I mean, again, just looking at Bell City, kind of keeping an eye on what they've been doing. They're not winning a ton of these games, but they're in every game, and they're
No,
playing
that
against tough teams. So Hathaway's, J.S. Clark, they're in that district and stuff like that. Midland, so it's Bell City could get hot for sure. Reeves, Bell City,
well, they would have to upset Reeves and Midland. You know what I mean? So I mean, Bell City and the Pipkin, and respectively, would have to knock off the 5 and the 4.
yep. So I mean, again, like so Bell, he said Reeves and Bell City split 1-1, so that definitely could be a matchup. And then Bell City and Midland I've played. It was a 6 point game, and that was blown out the first time, and the second time was a 6 point game. So I'm not sure what happened in the second part of that matchup in district, but district opponents again, it's tough to beat somebody 3 times. So that's gonna be some fun ones. That's a whole little interesting. That little bottom half, little 8-7 man bracket right there is very interesting. And then, like we said, you have Hicks and Fairview, which is even more interesting. A possible quarterfinal rematch. This man, it's definitely interesting for sure. Moving to the bottom
Yeah,
half,
yeah.
got another Midland beat Bell State twice. Strategic defense. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man. There's a lot of district matchups there that bottom half, and then like we said, you have the Hicks Fairview kind of talk about up top. Holden's playing better. A little healthy and stuff. So it is going to be interesting to see. Gibson Coleman's probably going to have too much for them, and that's just too far of a hike. Anna Coco is playing well. You've seen Zwali. What's your thoughts on them and anybody else kind of in
So
this division?
when I tell you of a up and down, well, I gotta give it to Wally. Then when I seen them, they were looking good. They were rolling. Then the other game that they disappointed me in was they lost to Southwood when they should have easily beat them, but the guard didn't play. So when you got key pieces missing, I don't know why she didn't play that game. That makes a difference. You know what I mean? And then the other guard, number 11, fouled out third quarter. So when you can't do that when it comes to playoff, you know what I mean? So they've got to get it together there, and they could have easily been higher than a 10 seed, I believe. So they could make a little noise there, but man, I just Samari Sampson and Gibson Coleman, they're gonna be rolling.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, picking in at the 20 seed is scary for sure at the top half. I think you see the same thing with Anna Coco at the 7. Like Anna Coco has really competed with some interesting teams. They beat Oak Hill. We keep ranting and raving about Oak Hill. They beat Hicks. They beat Piggin, Plainview. They beat them. Like it's I don't know, man. Competed against South Bow. Anacoco is probably a team I could see could make a run here. And play against Hathaway. We'll let them know in the comments like what y'all's thoughts on how does the Anacoco match up with Hathaway there in the quarterfinals. I think that's a tough draw, man. When you're the 2 seed, I just think Hathaway got a tough draw having Anacoco there at the 7. I would love to know what other people's thoughts are. Florine's definitely a sleeper team. So I think I would rather play Florine if I'm Hathaway instead of Anacoco. No discredit to either one. Um, Getting Gibson Coleman state championship experience, Hathaway state championship experience, and a Coco prestigious program. Like there's just so much talent everywhere. Um, what's your thoughts? Who you see coming out of this part of the bracket, kind of all the way through? Hathaway
Uh
or
the Gibson Coleman Hathaway is gonna be interesting. I think Hathaway beats Anna Coco if that's the matchup in the quarters. Gibson Coleman Hathaway in the semis gonna be interesting. Ken Gibson matched the intensity of Hathaway. Again, Samara Sampson, Housley are a good 1-2 combo. Gibson Coleman there, and they got another little guard. I can't remember her name off the top of my head. So kind of got to form the three-headed monster there in Gislin. And they, like you said earlier, man, they got that championship experience. They're hungry. They want to get back. They were runner-ups last year, so they want to at least get back to that. So it's going to be tough. That could be a toss-up, flip a coin, man. Tell me who you got.
yeah. I mean, with this comment here, the Greek beating Zawali, that's could throw a wrench into what I'm saying. If they win that game, then they turn around and have a home game versus Anna Coco.
Correct.
You could see a 20 seed make a run there and go and
Yeah.
play Hathaway. That could be interesting. So that's a great comment for sure. I mean, I think Anna Coco is a team that we could see arguably the highest seeded team that we could see make the run. Um, of course, Hicks could beat Fairview, but I don't think they're favored by any means. I think Hathaway's done a great job preparing themselves for this moment. You know, they've done a good job overall scheduling, playing the St. Thomas Moores. They played the Zacharys. You know, they played some really tough teams, and for that reason, we've had them in the top 25 of the entire state, regardless of classification. And I don't think there's no reason for us not to have that, right? Their last loss, again, I go back to was Bell City. They lost to Bell City. That was December 17th, um, which was a long, long time ago. Let's put it that way. And that was a 2-point loss. If you go outside of that loss, they haven't lost again until they played Barb, which was November 22nd, and that was a 5-point loss. Um, so I think in the scope of everything, Fairview being who they are and what we've experienced, I think Hathaway kind of gets lost in the shuffle. I think they might even be the favorite here. Wouldn't be surprised. But with that being said, man, I think Hathaway and Fairview are just on another level in this division. And I think if it was like Indiana, where we came away with just one state championship, I wouldn't be surprised if Hathaway and Fairview won several games in like a major tournament, you know, where we were going across classifications. Um, but yeah, man. Nonetheless, man, and Anacoco and Hathaway matchup is definitely interesting. Completely opposite. Tempo is going to be key. Yeah, it's the only thing I guess that worries me with the Fairview and Hathaway's style of play is it's so hard to shoot depth perception in Southeastern. Um, so that's something that I think favors Gibson Coleman when it comes to the semifinals. Gibson Coleman versus Hathaway, and then who's on the top side? Who are we looking at? Fairview versus Midland. Yes, same kind of thing. Like those other teams, Fairview and Hathaway are the favorite, but they rely on shooting so much. So if you're not hitting, which it is hard to shoot in those gyms, I think it makes
Correct.
the game a little bit closer. So yeah, man. Appreciate everybody for watching again, guys. Really appreciate all the feedback, commentary. We're on it for 2 hours, man, and I really appreciate everybody coming in and out. Again, if you missed, you can go back and watch it. Good luck to everybody. Safe travels to everyone on the road. Thursday, I have looked at it. Could be some sketchy weather, so those that are traveling far and stuff like that, make sure you give yourself enough time. Keep an eye on that. Definitely don't want to be something that you want to miss, you know. So give yourself plenty of time to get there. Nobody wants to be in a hurry to and or from. Enjoy the moment is going to be my advice to everybody. Really enjoy the moment. Enjoy these next 3 weeks because it's going to be over really fast. And this is what you work for. You know, all these teams that we're talking about are playing games in the summer for these 3 weeks. But yeah, man, Coach Kendrick, man, appreciate your time again, giving up 2 hours of your time plus the time we put into this to prepare before. So shout out to you, man. You want to leave us with anything on the road?
Man, you hit it, man. To all the girls, seniors, juniors, sophomores, freshmen, cherish these moments. When you go back and you think about it, will you get the opportunity next year? As a coach, I would be dying right now, and I'm chopping at the bit to be included in these playoffs. So you just never know when that last game could be. So go into every game, one game at a time, give it your all, and live with the results as long as you live it out on the floor.
Yep. Amen. I heard that, bro. Definitely gonna be some great games, man. A great time for Louisiana girls basketball. So if there's anything we can do to help you guys, definitely reach out to us. We'll be as in tune as we possibly can Wednesday and Thursday. Like I said, there will be some games on Wednesday. There will be some games on Thursday. And yeah, we'll circle back, man, with another episode of Talking Hoops. And that will be definitely before Monday, before the second round. So until next time, guys, make sure you keep us posted, tag us in anything, any posts you guys got. We love to share and continue to grow this platform for our girls. So until next time, guys, appreciate y'all.